So in 1976, Brooke Shields posed nude for Playboy at the age of 10 years old. Her mom allowed this, the publishers allowed this, Hugh allowed this, the photographer was for it, Gary Gross, who she later tried to sue 5 years later and ended up losing the case. So in 1976, these pictures were published. They are fully nude boudoir photos. There is nothing covering anything. And she is a 10-year-old girl done up like a baby prostitute with that makeup and that hair, explicitly in a Playboy magazine. So this is meant to be sexual, right? And then when Brooke Shields, as a teenager still, sued the photographer years later in 1981 or 1981, she lost the suit because the court ruled that the images weren't pornographic. And I'm assuming because of the same way that people justify a lot of things now, saying it's a kid, don't look at it sexually, like you're the one being weird by looking at this boudoir photo shoot in Playboy for a 10-year-old. And why was this allowed to happen? I mean, there's a few good answers, but one of the major ones is it was along the time of the sexual revolution, the 60s and 70s. It was all about freedom of expression and freedom of sexual expression, and this was during the time where a lot of these gender theorists and sex theorists and queer theorists were actually speaking about how sometimes there's nothing wrong with adult-child sexual relationships, and sometimes they can be consensual, and that that like boy love is one of the highest forms of love that is possible between two people. And we aren't experiencing necessarily a sexual revolution now, but we are in the midst of our gender revolution. And during revolutionary times like that, things slip through the cracks that we need to be a lot more cautious of. So what is the lesson that we learn from this? What if an organization like Gays Against Groomers existed back then? Do you think this would slide? It probably would have to be like Actors Against Groomers or something. We would never let this slide. This is insane. And we can get that now, but it wasn't then for some reason and was allowed through all of these different checks and balances and channels. This was allowed and thought to be okay. From the makeup artist that did her up to the stylist, looks like she has body oil on. Like there is so many things absolutely horrific about this. And the parallel is that now we're having a gender revolution and we need to be really, really cautious of what is slipping through the cracks, because grooming is nothing new. This has been going on for ages and it's not necessarily linear. A lot of it is cyclical. And during these cyclical times of revolution and where everyone's caught up in the zeitgeist of what's happening, horrible things like this can happen because there are always perverts looking to take advantage of situations like this. And the day that Gary Gross, the photographer who shot this, died in November 30th, 2010, was a great day for everyone. This is horrific.